Morning, everyone. My name's Mickey Draper. I'm a health and safety consultant for THSP. What we're going to do today is a toolbox talk on environmental emergency procedures. The purpose of the toolbox talk then, so environmental agencies can cause serious harm to people, wildlife, emergencies. Environmental emergencies can cause serious harm to people, wildlife, property, and company reputation. This talk will outline how to recognise, respond to, and report environmental emergencies within the UK. The definition then, so what is an environmental emergency? Um, it's any unexpected incident that causes or has the potential to cause harm to the environment. Examples include spills and leaks, so fuels, oils, chemicals, paint, cement, slurries, that sort of thing. And we've also got air emissions, such as smoke, dust, vapors, and refrigerant gases. Water pollution, so contaminated water entering rivers, lakes, drains, or the sea. Soil contamination then, so hazardous materials seeping into the ground. Wildlife incidents, injuries or deaths to protected species or habitats. And waste incidents, so illegal dumping or fire in waste storage areas. The UK legal responsibilities then, so this is what we must comply with. So we've got the Environmental Protection Act 1990, we've got the Water Resources Act 1991, we've got the Environmental Permitting Regulations 2016, Control of Pollutions and Oil Storage Regulations 2001, Hazardous Waste Regulations 2005, and then we've got the Duty of Care of Waste, and that's Section 4 EPA, and that's 1990. There are penalties for non-compliance, and these can include unlimited fines, prosecution, and potential prison sentences. Incidents can also cause reputational damage and loss of contracts, which result in loss of earnings for companies. Common causes of environmental emergencies then, so poor storage of fuels and chemicals, overfilling tanks or containers, equipment failure or burst pipes, and accidental discharge into drains. Incorrect waste handling or disposal, fires and explosions releasing toxic substances. So how do we prevent it then? So some of the best practices then, so we've got store hazardous materials in bundled, labelled and secured areas. Yeah, so any storage of fuels, your diesel barrels and stuff like that, they should be bundled. Yeah, so if it does spill, it's being captured. Obviously keep them in secured areas as well, so people don't have access to them. Keep spill kits in accessible locations. Yeah, you've probably seen the big yellow bins that people keep on site. Yeah, there's no point having spill kits if they're not accessible where a spillage can take place. Carry out regular maintenance on plant and equipment. Yep, so you should be servicing and maintaining your plant and equipment regularly. Yeah, you've got obviously your weekly checks, and obviously you've got your certificate for examination, which is your annual service and inspection. Segregation of waste are disposable of it via licensed carriers. Yeah, so make sure you dispose of any sort of waste down the right channels, and you get a waste transfer note as evidence of you doing that, because if the HSE come onto site, they may request your waste transfer notes to make sure you're disposing of your waste properly. Know the locations of drains, interceptors and water courses. Yeah, look, sometimes spillages can happen. However, what you want to do is be keeping it away from drains and obviously water courses, rivers, stuff like that. Yeah, so just make sure you're aware when you're on a site and you know where these locations are. Pre-work risk assessments. Yeah, so you should always have a risk assessment in place. Just make sure that the environmental section obviously gets completed as well, and you're thinking about, again, drains and water courses and how we can avoid polluting them. Emergency response then. So if an environmental emergency happens, There's a step-by-step process. So step one, you should stop and make safe. So stop the source if it is safe to do so, i.e. close a valve, switch off a pump. If you spilt a container, make sure you turn it upright. And obviously do not put yourself at risk. Step two then is contain the spill/release. Use of spill kits, absorbent pads, booms, or sands to contain spread. Block the drain using drain covers or mats, and keep materials on hard standing if possible. Yeah, so spill kits tend to come with a guide on how to use them. Yeah, sometimes you get pads, sometimes you get sands, and obviously you should have the bags as well for cleaning up the substances after as well. Step three then, so notify immediately. So you should inform your supervisors and site managers. You should contact your environmental officer. Notify emergency services if there is significant harm. For example, fire and rescue. You probably notice when there's a major car accident that the fire engines turn up, and that's because if you report a to the police services an incident on a road and there is a fuel spill, the fire service will come up and they'll take care of the cleanup, as it were. Yeah, and you can contact the Environment Agency incident hotline on 0800 80 70 60. And this is a 24/7 helpline that you can ring up. Step four then, so protect people and wildlife. So you should evacuate if toxic fumes are present. Yeah, obviously you don't want to be breathing toxic fumes in. So again, if it's not safe to do so, just leave the area. Prevent access to contaminated areas. Keep people, pets, and wildlife away from hazards. Yeah, so if there is an incident, just make sure you make people aware surround as well. So it's all good you going away, but obviously you need to make other people aware of the dangers as well. Step five then is record and report. So you should document what's happened. You should document the time, the location, the material, the quantity, and any actions taken by yourselves. You should preserve the evidence for investigation. Yep. So no hiding stuff away. Just be open and honest. And again, just include the details in your report. And then if it does need to be investigated further, make sure you leave stuff in its rightful place, as it were. Follow your organisation's reporting procedures. These are often linked to ISO 14001, your environmental management systems. So, yep, spillages, how to report them and stuff like that should be covered as part of your induction onto sites. If they're not, obviously just raise it at the end of the induction to say, look, what's the spillage procedures? What do we need to do? Where's the location of the spill kits, etc. If you're ever unsure of what to do and how to respond, raise it with your site managers and they should be able to point you in the right direction. Key contacts on site then, so post a visible emergency contact sheet on site with supervisor, site manager's phone number, environmental officer contact. You should have a spill response team leader. The environmental agency hotline, as we've said there, 0800 80 70 60, and the local council's environmental health team. So obviously not everyone works in construction then, so we've got some sector specific notes. So if you do work in construction, some things that get overlooked. So watch for cement washout. Obviously cement's hazardous as well, so you can't just dump it on the floor. It needs to be distributed properly. Sediment runoff and diesel spills. Manufacturing then, so manage chemical storage and process wastewater. Yeah, if you're contaminating water, you can't then be putting it back into the streams, as it were. Logistics and transports then, so be prepared for fuel spills during loading and unloading. Yeah, you'll probably see that you can use you got the drip trays, so if you're fueling up on site, just make sure you put the drip trays down before you start fueling up. Marine and port then, yep, so follow the MARPOL rules, which is maritime, for oil discharge, have floating booms ready. Energy sectors then, so control transformer oil leaks and refrigerant gas emissions. Agriculture, prevent slurry, pesticides or fertilizers and in water courses. Some do's and don'ts then. So obviously what we want to do is we want to act immediately. We want to use the correct PPE. We need to follow the spill response plan. If there isn't one, again, raise it with your site managers. There should be one in place. And report all near misses. What we don't want to do then is wash spills down drains, ignore small leaks as they can escalate, attempt to clean up without proper equipment, and delay reporting because you think it's minor. Okay. You've got near misses and you've got major and minor incidents, yeah. Any spillages is classed as a near miss, so it should be reported. Take care of the small things, and the big things will take care of themselves, okay? So don't leave it for the next guy to report it. If you think something's not right, it doesn't look right, get it reported. To summarise then, so environmental protection is everybody's responsibility, and the faster you respond, the less damage is done. So remember to stay calm, obviously follow the plan, protect people and nature, and report and learn from the incidents. That concludes today's Toolbox Talk. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one.